Hey guys, welcome to the Monday night Team FitHoots call. I might have to stop and just mute a couple people as they jump on. I am so excited that there's so many people on because one, Abbey is awesome. And sorry if I look away and just kind of mute some people. And I got to spend a lot of time with Abbey at Summit and just kind of get to know her a little bit more. She is amazing. She signed up in this business, what is it, 2 years?
Yeah, it'll be 2.5, or about 2.5 now, yeah.
And she has just been one of those coaches for me that has inspired me to like become a mom, kill my excuses, and just when she's told it's not going to happen, she proves everybody wrong. Like literally, she could, I don't know if she'll have time to tell the story, but I'll tell it real quick. She was told by corporate, like, I don't know if you're going to be able to pull this off to be a lead, Abbey. And she's like, you know what? Like there's less than so many months, I guess. And she just killed it. And like I said, she's only been a coach 2.5 years. And some of her stats, I had her, I don't want to mess them up, but I put them in the pictures in our team page and I sent her the picture. I hope you liked it, Abbey.
It was super cute.
I love making pictures for my guest speakers. But she's a 5-star diamond in her business center. 2.5 years, guys, 5-star diamond. Her husband on the cruise went 2-star. And I was like, are you kidding? And he's all like, yeah, I'm a 2-star diamond. Like, because, you know, we're told sign your spouse up or sign them up. And just she's building his business now. And she's a mom of, I don't forget how old your daughter is. I know she's under 5.
She's 3.
She's 3. She owns a gym. She's from Pennsylvania. I think she's on the other side, though. We're like on different sides. So she's from my state, and she's from, I'm pretty close to where the top coach, Melanie Nitro, is from, that kind of closer to that area. So anyone who wants to use an excuse like, oh, there's too many Beachbody coaches, like she's right there near the top coach 2 years in a row, and she's still building an amazing business, 2.5 years, and go like, rocking it. So when I reached out to her, she's like, is there anything that your team struggles with? And I was like, it's pretty much what you rock at, which is organization, systems, how to like handle everything, pretty much being a mom, a wife, a business owner, twice, 3 times considering you run your husband's business too. So literally, you guys, like, he's one of them coaches to me. I had a point that has just inspired me that I can do this and everything else that I want in life and not like make excuses about it. So tonight, her topic is organizing yourself for success. Obviously, she knows what she's doing. She's hit Success Club like 2 years in a row. She's a legend in our business. Literally, she has the title Success Club Legend. And that means since she's only been a coach 2.5 years, you guys, she's hit Success Club like practically every month since she's joined, which is amazing. So please have a notepad and a piece of paper, pen and paper, however you take notes, and just get ready because she's going to rock our freaking world. So I'm going to mute everybody. And Abbey, take the floor.
All right. Thanks so much, Lisa. That was great. And I'm excited to speak to you guys. I apologize that I'm sweaty and frazzled, but this is the story of my life, And I think what's the most important tip and takeaway I could give any of you right now where you're at is just share everything about your life all the time. I'm not going to make an excuse to not do this call, even though I ran in my house 2 minutes ago. I have calls until 10 o'clock tonight, and I haven't eaten anything. But guess what? And I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to eat in one of my other calls later. So, what we have to do is just realize that no one's perfect. And even as we get all these titles and accolades, like I don't have it all together all the time. And you don't have to either. But what we have to do is make systems that are totally going to be simple, straightforward ways for us to approach our lives and our business. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys and just take you through a few things so that I stay focused and make this a good use of your time. Can you guys see my screen? So this is just a little bit about me. Personally, I feel like I learn the best from people when I get to know them better. So, I joined this business. It was in 2013. My daughter was 7 months old. And I was in grad school for nutrition at the time. And like Mrs. said, I own a gym. I was running my gym and I was working as a dental hygienist. I volunteer and I sing for my church. And I also have done I think 8 or 10 missions trips where I go abroad and I do different things. The one in the picture, I was doing dental work on a missions trip. But I was super, super busy and I had a lot of things going on. And how this business kind of came to be for me is that, like I said, I was getting my master's in nutrition and a lot of people trusted me for advice and questions about different things they were looking at. And I had a lot of people coming to me and asking me about different things that they wanted to take, about different diet pills on the market, about, without mentioning things that you could wrap yourself in, things that you could drink yourself skinny, and all the different things on the market. And people had questions about them and if they were things that were okay to take or not. And basically I told them all, you can't take any pills. That's my only rule. And I'll look into the rest of this for you because I really don't know everything about these products. There's new products coming on the market every day. So I had this long list of things that people wanted me to research, and I looked into all of them. And it was so easy to just throw every product in the trash can because they were all made of crap. It took me 2 seconds to see artificial sweeteners on the list and all the different things that these products represented that I did not view as a healthy lifestyle. And Shakeology was on that list. I had never had Shakeology before. And I had that on my list to look up, and I started to look up things about Shakeology. And it was a little bit harder for me to immediately roll it out. I saw that there were no artificial sweeteners and all of the wonderful things that you guys all know about Shakeology, I was starting to see. And I said, if this is half of what I can find out about it on paper, it's something that I would consider recommending to people. So I also am somebody that I would never recommend something I haven't tried. So I got online and I was going to order a bag of this Shakeology to try for myself. And I'm also pretty frugal. So I looked all over the website. I read all the fine print and I figured out that it was cheaper to be a coach than a customer. So I signed up to be a coach that day. I didn't sign up under anybody. I didn't know what it was to be a coach. And I just signed up to be a coach that day for the discount. I remember, I'll never forget one of my best friends that is my coach, called me up. Her name's Manny Watkins, if you guys know Manny. And she was like so pumped that I was this person that owned a gym and I was getting my master's in nutrition. And she was like, oh my gosh, this girl could be a great coach. And I was like, sorry, Charlie, like I've got a lot going on. I'm like, I was 7-month-old. I'm getting my master's. I'm working like 8 jobs. I really can't take on anything else. And so I kind of shut her down and I didn't plan on doing anything with this business. But like a lot of you, I'm sure that you started to get results, right? And you started to feel good and you couldn't help but share what you were going through. And it just came up in conversation all the time. And then I realized that that's all being a coach really was just sharing my experiences, sharing my journey, and sharing what I was doing with other people so that they could have positive results too. So I started doing that little by little. The first month that I decided to do that, I hit Success Club. And then I thought that was pretty cool. And then I kept doing that. And, I saw that I could build a business in a short period of time and I could still have everything else on my plate, but I had to make Beachbody a priority if I wanted to be able to grow it. So that leads me in to the next segment of what I'm going to talk to you guys about. As I shared with you, I did a lot of things when I first started, and I still do most of those things today. And I run a way bigger business than I did when I started. So where do you spend your time? I want you to think about these 6 plates, as I like to call them, and think about where you spend your time right now. Do you have a job outside the home? Obviously Beachbody is going to be on one of these plates. Do you have kids? Do you, are you a stay-at-home parent? What do you do? What do you spend your time with? Do you volunteer? Now look at these areas of life. We have family, faith, work, Beachbody, hobbies, and what I call ADLs, which are activities of daily living, the things that we can't live without. We've got to clean our house and we've got to brush our teeth. And there's some things that we just can't give up, right? So there's things that occupy our time, and we make those things priorities. So what I want you to think about right now, based on the amount of time you spend in locations, I want you to rate these things for yourself. With 1 being where you spend the most time, 1 through 5, cross out activities of daily living because you have to do those. But where do you spend your time? I want you all to take a minute and think about that and jot it down. All right. So write down the things that you do for each of these categories. For your Beachbody business, what are you doing? For hobbies that you do, what are you doing? Your family, your faith. You can expand on these later as well. I want to kind of breeze through them, but I just want you to get your wheels turning about where you spend your time throughout the day. So rank them. For me, this is where I was at. My faith is number 1 in my life. My family comes second. Beachbody's third. My other work is fourth, and my hobbies are fifth. I have to tell you, when I first started this business, though, mine were reversed. My faith and family always came first, but Beachbody came after my main employment, which was a dental hygienist and running my gym. About a year into my business, I almost quit Beachbody, and I thank God so much now that I never did that. But I almost quit because I had so much on my plate, and my goals didn't line up with my actions. And my goals were, to be able to facilitate a business with Beachbody that would pay to run my gym so that I didn't have to run it anymore. And for me to not have to work as a hygienist part-time. All these different things I wanted, but my activities weren't matching those. So I needed to be putting as much time into my Beachbody business as I was in working so that I could leave working, right? So my priorities didn't match my actions, for sure. So that's what I want you to think about right now. What are your goals? What do you want to happen? What dream do you see with Beachbody? Because it's totally there for you. Anything you can dream, you can do in this business, but your actions have to start to match your priorities. So we can only juggle so many things, and we have to decide where our time's going to go, or it's going to go on its own. I don't know if any of you are Dave Ramsey fans. I'm a Dave Ramsey fan, and that's what he says about money and about budgeting, right? If you don't name every dollar, it's just going to disappear. And the same thing goes with our time. If we don't name where our time's going to go, our time just disappears. So where are your priorities really? Maybe yours aren't the same as mine, but, faith, family, and work is where all my priorities were. That was draining me and all the obligations I was creating. So, I don't know if any of you are like me, but I'm a yes person. I don't like to say no often. So, when I'd be asked if I could sing another day at church, or if I'd be asked if I could go, do whatever for somebody, I always said yes. And being a yes person to everything and not just saying yes to the things that served me left me feeling drained all the time and not having any time for Beachbody. So just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's good for you. This is one of my favorite quotes, and something I want you all to think about in your own life right now is, I'm sure you all have many talents and many things that you're good at, but it doesn't mean it's good for us all the time to be spreading ourselves super thin. Right? And by saying yes to everything and every great opportunity that comes our way, we often are left feeling so drained and so dry, and that our cup is not filled up. And that's where I was at in life, is I was saying yes to so many things because they were things I was good at. And, even when it comes to my church, I am very active in my church. And in my mind, serving my church was like a great thing. But, there's lots of people out there that are in your church, if you're a church person too, that should be serving the church too. You don't have to do all the jobs. And the same goes for everything else in life. We don't have to be the one that does everything just because we're good at it. So you have to decide what your highest priorities are, and then have the courage, pleasantly, smilingly, non-apologetically, to say no to other things And the way you do that is by having a bigger yes burning inside. And this is one of my other favorite top quotes that just, culminates everything I'm talking about with you guys tonight, is that you have to rank your priorities and you have to be willing to say no to the things that don't serve that big yes that's burning inside of you. So for me, what that started to become was a year into my business, I decided that, before I would give up Beachbody, before I'd give up my gym and all the other things that I did. But at about a year into my business, I decided that I would give up my gym before I'd give up Beachbody, because I saw the bigger vision. I saw the bigger yes burning inside me, and I needed to start saying no to the things that weren't serving that. So that's what I want you guys to think about right now. My big take action step with you in this little spiel is, decide your priorities and decide if your actions are matching your intentions right now, whether it's in your life, in your business, all these areas of life. Like, we have to be a happy being, or we're not going to be good at anything that we're doing. I always say that if you bring your stress into all the other areas, you're not going to be satisfied doing what you're doing. So make a stop list. So often when we get off calls, we have a list of all the things that we want to put into practice. I want you to write down a list of all the things you're going to stop doing. Maybe it's stop scrolling newsfeed. I don't know. Maybe it's stop saying yes to whatever after school activity for your kid that you're volunteering for that you hate. I don't know what it is, but make a stop list of all the things that you're going to stop doing that are wasting your time and not serving your goals. Commit to saying no to some good things so you can be great in the areas of your highest priority. So for me, my area of highest priority became my business. So I had to start saying no to other good opportunities so I could become great at building an amazing Beachbody business. So those are my big take action steps for you. And then here are some top tips. So tell your time where to go, or it's going to decide for you. That's something huge. So we're going to become practical with this in a few minutes, and I'm going to talk about scheduling time and a calendar. But, it's so important to know that we have to tell our time where to go. Set a schedule that you can keep up with. You must give attention to all your plates, or they won't be there anymore. So I don't know if any of you have seen this analogy before, but has anyone ever seen spinning plates? Yeah, maybe. Okay. So they do this at like time management lectures all the time. So there'll be like, all these metal rods and plates, literally like China dinner plates spinning on them. And they'll spin on this rod. It's just, I don't know physics, but the way aerodynamics work, these plates will spin if you keep tapping them to go around. But say you have like 6 areas of life, like we were just talking about, and you're not giving attention to each one and pushing it around, they're going to crash down. So you have to make sure you're managing your time wisely, that if you have a family, you are spending time with your family and you're giving attention to that plate. And then you're spending time in your business. And we have to be focused, and we have to tap that plate. We can't tap all the plates at the same time, or we throw them off balance. But we have to consistently tap each plate and give it time. So schedule family time. Literally, I schedule dinners with my family. That might sound crazy, but like I scheduled nights that I'm going to eat dinner with my daughter and my husband. Schedule your business time. Schedule in your hobbies. Put it down on paper or in your Google Calendar, however you work best. Stop using the excuse of being busy as the reason why your business is not where you want it to be. This is a huge thing for me, because you can't have that fight with somebody that has 88 spinning plates at the same time. But it's really just an excuse. It's an excuse we all use to kind of hide behind. But don't use being busy as your excuse, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We just have to decide how we're going to spend those 24 hours. It's just like when we talk to people about having time to work out. No one really has time. We make time. We make it a priority. We have to make our business a priority if we want to see it work. And then the last thing I can tell you is focus on one thing. I love this analogy. Maybe you guys didn't get it. I'm like really metaphorical and I love analogies. So here we go. Picture, all the lights on in your room, right? So if all the lights are on in your room, there's a little bit of light on everything. There's a little bit of focus on everything. But if you turned all the lights on and you put a headlamp on like you were in a cave, all your light, all your energy, all your focus is on one thing. And that's what I want you to feel like with your time. Whenever it's family time, phones down. Whenever it's business time, notifications are off. You're in a room that you can be focused on just business and be focused on it. Whenever we do that, we can be the most effective with our time because we're going to get so much more done in shorter periods of time when we give it all of our attention. So that's that. I'm going to pull up something for you. Can you guys see this? Yeah, I don't know how big it is. I'm going to try to make it a little bigger so you can see it. So this is my monthly success plan. This is what I've done in my business for a long time, and this is what my team does too. I think Mrs. said you guys have seen this before, at least maybe some of you have, but I'm going to nail this down into your heads. And maybe Mrs. has another layout of how you guys do your weeks, but it's not important. What's important is that you just assign your tasks time. So, so often I hear from my coaches, I don't have, people to recruit to become coaches. Well, often we don't have people to recruit if we're not running challenges every month, right? We have to run challenges every month. Well, if we don't run free groups or short Shakeology groups or things to gain interest, we don't have challengers. So it all works in a revolving motion that we have to constantly make sure we're doing each of these things or the business flow doesn't work. So this is the flow of how I set up my month. So the first, and this might sound weird, so the way that this goes, it all bases off the first Monday of the month, okay? So some months have more weeks. This always goes off the first Monday. So for me, the first Monday of the month, I always am starting new coach training. And that first week of the month is when I'm getting people to sign up with challenge packs for my challenge that starts the second Monday of the month, okay? So the first 5 days of the month, my goal is to hit Success Club 10 personally. That doesn't have to be your goal, but I would suggest your goal be to hit Success Club 5 at the minimum in the first week of the month. What does this do for you? Number one, if you're a busy person like me, you know that you did the non-negotiable thing for the month in your business to move it forward. I guarantee you, if you make a commitment today, it's only April 4th, that for every month for the next year, you are going to hit Success Club 5. You will be at an astronomical place in your business that you cannot imagine next year. Okay, I can literally promise you that, but it all starts with that basis. So first week of the month, I'm focusing on recruiting challengers. That means I'm putting hooks up on my Facebook page about challenge groups. That's challenge group invitation posts. And I am private messaging people. I am talking to the people that were in my free group at the end of last month. I am getting people on board. So the second week of the month, I am focusing on building relationships. My challenge just started, and that first week of the challenge, I don't know how many of you know this or not. I'm sure you do, but this is coming from a health and fitness perspective. This is what I did before Beachbody coaching. When people are making a behavior change, the first week is the most vital. They need the most love from us. They need the most attention. They need private messages. They need us tagging them in posts in our challenge. We need to be messaging them, asking them about how their Shakeology is. Maybe they stirred it. We don't know what they did. You have to be showing them love and reaching out to people during that first week. So my focus is building relationships with my challengers that week. I'm posting jabs about my challenge groups and coaching. I'm shouting people out on my Facebook page for getting started in this challenge. I'm also highlighting what I do as a coach by sharing what's going on in my challenge group, and I'm making jabs about coaching. So the third week of the month, I focus on recruiting. Why do I do this? So I've already hit Success Club 5 as a base at that point. Really, for me, it's 10. But if your base is 5 at that point, guess what? If you focus on recruiting, you could hit 10 with recruiting, all right? So I've hit 5 at least, maybe 10. Now I'm focusing on recruiting. This is when I always for me and my team, the third Wednesday of every month is when I do a coach opportunity thing. So whether I like to do Zoom calls all the time, I do coaches sharing their story, like what is coaching calls on Zoom. I like doing that. Sometimes we do live events. Whatever it is, there'll be something to invite people to for me that week of the month. And I'm posting hooks about coaching then, coaching invitation posts on my Facebook page. And why else is this great that it's the third week of the month? Well, guess what? If you had challengers sign up, they're like, hopefully at least a good week, maybe 10 days into their Shakeology at this time. They're noticing extreme differences. They're loving it. They have energy. And guess what? We're talking about their next bag of Shakeology. And I'm going to talk about the coaching opportunity with all my challengers during this week as well. Okay. So this is my week to focus on recruiting and also to advertise for a free group. So I recommend, if you're not doing this, game changer in my business, if you're sitting around wondering why you don't have anybody to invite or talk to, you need to do a free group. Or I love 7-day Shakeology tastings. Sometimes I do 4-day tastings, something at the end of every month where people can join for free or for under $30. That is easy. It's easy to throw down $30. It's not easy for everybody to throw down $140 or $160. Okay. So this changed my business. The last week of every month, I'm setting people up to buy challenge packs from me in the first 5 days of the next month, right? So I have people I'm talking to, building relationship with, they're testing out how they like working with me in this free group or 7-day Shakeology group the last week of the month. So then this just changes my whole flow, right? For the next month, we just roll right into it. And why do I do this? So, maybe you say, I'm having a good system, and that's fine. If you have a great system, I want you to stick with it. You don't have to change to mine. But for me, as a busy mom and, somebody who just was lost in knowing what to do every day of the week, if I had this laid out for myself of something that I knew I needed to do each day, then I was good. I knew that, I needed to focus on recruiting. I needed to focus on finding new challengers, or I needed to focus on building relationships with my challengers. I needed to have a time to focus on each of those things, because I think so often in this business, we feel like we know there's so much to do and we don't know what to just do, right? And sometimes it's overwhelming to focus on, I need to talk to people about challenge groups, and I need to talk to people about free groups and about the coaching opportunity all at the same time. So kind of blocking out your time that way is incredibly useful for me. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to tell you my last thing. My last thing to tell you would be, you have to stop making excuses about the vital behaviors and the basis of your business. So at the end of the day, some days go better than others. Some days, my daughter's super cooperative and she'd totally watch another episode of Mickey so I could finish up my work. And, some days everybody's teaching classes at the gym that they're supposed to, and I don't have to run in and teach an extra class, but some days they don't. But what I do know is that if I do the minimum things for my business, which is if you guys do the power of 3s, or maybe you've heard about the daily 4s, or whatever it is that you do, the basics of your business. What does that really mean? That means inviting, connecting, adding new friends on Facebook, those vital things. If you've done those every day, you can walk away at the end of the day saying it doesn't matter what else I did. I moved my business forward. And this system just gives me, something to invite people to all the time. Every week of the month, I have something to invite people to. I'm either inviting them to a challenge group, or I'm inviting them to the coaching opportunity, or I'm inviting them to a free group. So for me, having an outline of what I need to do when I sit down for my business has changed the way I work my business. And, like I said, if you can just focus your time and energy on one area at a time, that's where you're going to see the most success. The last tip I'll give you before I want to give you guys a couple minutes to ask questions is I set a timer when I'm working each area of my business. So if I'm adding friends on Facebook, I set a timer. If I'm, messaging people that I've recently added, I set a timer. Why do I do that? Because I'm a squirrel. I'm a total squirrel. I'm like, shiny object. What am I doing? And then it's been 40 minutes and I added 3 friends. So I have to set that timer to remind myself, at maximum, I'm only going to waste 10 minutes then because the timer is going to go off and I'm going to remind myself, oh crap, what am I doing? So be effective with your time, shine the light on one thing at a time that you're focusing on. Don't forget to spin all your plates, giving time to your family and your friends and your hobbies and your business, but have a plan that's going to work for you. And that's the best advice I can give you guys. So if you have questions, I think Mrs. said you can put them in the box. If anybody wants to talk, you can unmute yourself. But I would love to hear from you guys so I can answer questions that are going to help you.
Dude, you killed it, Abby. I hope you guys are going to post some questions. And until you do, somebody better post a question, because I talked to some of you on the phone today and we went over some of this stuff. And, so I think you might have a question about some of this stuff. But a couple things I want to say. I love that you did that exercise with us and really made my coaches aware, like our team aware, because I hear a lot of times, like, I need organizational tools. I need, how to do it. You pretty much just like rocked that shit. Like, this is what you do. This is how you do it. My team is very familiar with your setup because I shared your setup, just put my team logo over it. I'm not going to lie. I did it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Guys, this is what we have to do. I make a team calendar and we pretty much follow that same, basis. So guys, if you've seen the April calendar, it's up. I focus on the same things. I love that Abby said, her focus is Success Club 5 or 10 by, you said the 10th of the month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. You guys know I always say Success Club 5 by the 5th, 10 by the 15th. I give you a little more leeway there. But one thing I just loved that you said, you gave up your gym. I was like, holy crap. And when you said that on the cruise, I was like, this is how I know. Like, when I said you were one of those coaches that signed up with Manny. Manny was my success partner. I knew you. I saw you build. I saw you go. I saw you almost quit. And you didn't. And I remember talking to Manny when she was telling me about you, like, almost quitting and being behind the scenes when all of that was happening. And I was just like, dude, I really hope she doesn't, because she's awesome. And I'm so glad you did. I'm sure you even said you're so glad you didn't. But when you said you gave up you want to give up your gym, and you said that on the cruise, I was just like, holy crap. Like, this really goes to show someone who's so passionate about health and fitness, believes so much in this business, that they would pay people to work at her gym versus her having to be there. Like, not give up your gym, but you know what I mean? Like, so you don't have to be there so much. Maybe you do want to give up your gym completely. You're like, yes, I kind of do. But I love just a couple things, guys, and that I want to say that, like, I really just want to make sure you heard her say the Shakeology groups. And I just want to make sure if we have a question. We do. So real quick, guys, the Shakeology groups, Abby, this is going to be what I hope you can just maybe spend a few minutes on, because I have coaches who do 5-day clean eating groups, and then we do the Shakeology. Like, we haven't really jumped into your whole Shakeology. I've shared the templates and stuff, but do you find you have just as much success with those as you do the free clean eating groups?
So I have minimal success with clean eating groups and so much success with Shakeology groups. Now, let me just explain this. I have lots of people that do clean eating groups, but you have to ask yourself as a business owner, like, how many of those people are converting to actual challengers that are buying challenge packs from you, that are doing your free groups, right? And that's why we're really doing them. We're building value so that people trust us and want to work with us more. So what I've found, and I found this in my gym as well, is that people are really willing to do things for free, but they're not willing to pay for things once they've got them for free. So once people have got you as their coach for free, and you're giving them a meal plan and you're giving them everything, I find it so much harder to convert that than to somebody who wants to pay for something. So what I've started to do is, and Miss said she shared my template before. I have this 7-day Shakeology template. that I do most of the time. And that is, you know, I have people spend like $30 to drink Shakeology for 7 days. And this is great because people have to have a little bit of skin in the game, and they get to fall in love with Shakeology, which is the most expensive part of the challenge pack. How often do you end up hearing, I'll just get the program? They don't see the value of Shakeology. So this helps them build the value of Shakeology by learning what's in Shakeology. I mapped out all the ingredients, what it does for you, and then it helps them see it for themselves, you know, that they have more energy. I really believe that after drinking Shakeology for 7 days, most people can see a difference. So this was a game changer for me, guys. I would encourage you to try it as well, because really for me then, at the end of my Shakeology group, I have people that want to drink Shakeology for 30 days. So the challenge pack is a no-brainer because they already have the bulk of the commitment underway. So it says that we're going to cut off in less than a minute. So I'm going to try to answer this question.
Thank you. I was like,
how did you overcome people already seeing all your fitness posts and getting beach bodybuilding? I think, are you saying like, because I post about it all the time? Is that what you mean? I don't know who wrote that.
Listen, Christy's a personal trainer. She has a lot of people who expect fitness from her. So now that she's working with Beachbody, I think she's kind of wondering, how can she start getting these people who are already used to seeing her talk about health and fitness, kind of like how you were talking about nutrition? How can she convert them to believe in a product when she has never really posted about, you know, like how can she get out there and post more about other things when people are already kind of just expecting one thing and then adding in a company into it?
Right. And Christy, if we cut off, message me and we can chat more about it. But you know, basically, I just started sharing my life and what I was doing. And just like anybody else that doesn't have a fitness background, by sharing what you are doing, people trust you already because they already trust your fitness advice. They already know you were doing this stuff. So now that Christy's put her stamp of approval on something, people are going to have more questions about that and want to get involved. So how I started, I never blasted Beachbody's name on my page at all when I first started because I was very careful because I had people that trusted me so much in health and fitness already. So I started, my posts always were like 5-day real food challenges, which those real food challenges contain Shakeology, but I never put that on my page. So, you know, I would kind of lean people in to talk to me about what I was doing, and then we'd have those conversations in private. I would do that with almost everything. And I'll say